Okay, y'all, so let's get into this Pusha T Clipse conversation. So Pusha T and his brother Malice sat down with GQ, and they had a conversation about everything, where music is now, and the fact that, they had their first album coming out. It's been 15 years. But one of the biggest questions that a lot of people had is, why has it taken so long? And according to Pusha T, he says that Def Jam tried to censor Kendrick Lamar's verse on a song that they have on the album, and eventually it turned into a back and forth of censor it, take the song off, and then from there it went to them eventually dropping Clipse and Pusha T solo.
That's
and
crazy.
Then them moving on.
Well, it hasn't been 15 years because of that. It was 15 years because, the one brother gave up rap at one time and only wanted to do Christian rap. And now they got back together doing rap.
But I mean, they dropped a press release over the summer. And over the summer when they dropped the press release, and then remember they teased the song at the LV fashion show? People thought that it was going to be like a lot sooner than right now than today. So that's what I'm referring to. But so what happened was, when that press release dropped, a lot of people realized that there was no mention of Def Jam, which was a thing because Clipse, their whole deal with Def Jam was new. It happened over like the last year or so. So people was like, what is going on? And instead they actually attributed the distribution and the marketing to Jay-Z's Rock Nation. So in the GQ article, Pusha T talks about, they were really excited. They went to Def Jam. They were proud. They thought that, like everything was moving how it was supposed to move. And then Def Jam heard the song Chains and Whips, which is the song that Kendrick Lamar is on. And they weren't going for it. Specifically, there was an attorney with Def Jam, and they are claiming that this attorney is the person who said, okay, we have to censor the song. And then it was the person who said, well, what if we just remove the song altogether? And then came back and said, okay, let's move away from the clips. Let's drop the clips. So Pusha T's like, well,
that was dumb.
The issue is,
you know why they censoring? I'm sure Def Jam wanted to censor Kendrick because they're in the middle of this lawsuit with Drake.
Yes,
I guarantee you that has something to do with that lawsuit.
Of course.
Yes. So according to Pusha T, the lawyer's name was Steve Gawley, and he says that what he believes is their issue was that you got two of Drake's biggest arch enemies, right? Who were on this song, and they're UMG's in the middle of, or Def Jam, they're in the middle of this lawsuit, so they're like, no, we can't, like we don't want any more fire, let's just sit back. And Pusha T's like, well, basically that has nothing to do with us. So they're like, well, we'll just drop the clips. And then Pusha T is like, well, the issue is I'm still here as a solo artist, so if you gonna let Clipse go, let me go as well too. And it got to the point where that's what they did. So
Def Jam should be ashamed of themselves. Okay, record labels censoring artists. What happened to my freedom of speech?
Russell Simmons would never when he was president. Jay-Z would never when he was president. Leo Cohen would never when he was president. Kevin Lyles would never. Like you said, that's freedom of speech. Allow him to say what he wants to say.
That
makes no sense at all.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but.
And by the way, albums like the Clipse are the type of albums Def Jam should be putting out.
Yes.
I call that adult contemporary hip hop, like artists that are just timeless and classic. Def Jam is supposed to represent a timeless classic label. That's the type of project they should be 100% behind.
Well, that was the origin of Def Jam, the streets, right? When you see artists like, we can go back from Jay-Z to Jeezy to the Clipse, like that's the origin of Def Jam. That's what built Def Jam. You know what I mean? That's why this is really, really weird.
Yeah, I agree. And I also think too, I think it's certain artists that you can kind of play around with like this. I don't think
Clipse
that
don't care.
Yeah, I don't think that it was smart for them to even approach them directly, indirectly, whatever, with something like this, as if they're going to care and they're going to be quiet about it.
It's just bad press.
Yeah, it's just
for a label that doesn't need it.
Not right now.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Just bad press for no reason.
Not right now at all. Well, I grabbed one of the photos, and for the listeners, please go take a look at the GQ interview because they look so good in their photo shoot. They're all black. And they have a ton of different photos. And in the interview, they're actually in a Sprinter with the writer of the article, trying to just find food, and they're just having a conversation about music and where music is now. And
those brothers, they've aged very well. Not just as artists, but as humans. Like, when you get to a certain age, that's what you look at. I don't care about your designer. I don't care about your cars, your jewelry. What do you look like? Is your skin clear? Eyes white? Are you mentally and physically in shape? That's what I like.
Yeah. I agree.
And they've always been like that. They always been on their workout regimen. They always been on their eating good food regimen, and they're all about family. So that's the main purpose of the Clipse. Salute to the Clipse.
I also appreciated Malice's perspective when he was talking about how you don't have to address everything.
Yes.
And how artists feel the need to talk back to their fans, and he was like, you talk about you can see people's egos taking over, and folks never learn to sit down. And he said you can rise above that eternally if you are at peace with yourself.
They plan out. If you don't know them, and hopefully they'll come up here. They plan out everything. They plan out the next 5 years of where they want to be with fashion and music and their investments. They plan out everything. They are very methodical when they come to the way that they think about things.
Yeah, I know. And one of the other things too first of all, I thought that was a good take from Alice, because he's the type, he just sits back. He doesn't really get involved in anything whatsoever. But even in this article, he's talking a lot more about, he talks about like he feels like he's watched the engine leave rap, where like he left and he took a step away and he came back and things are exactly where they are. But they also talk about whether this new collaboration with Roc Nation means we're going to get more Pusha T, Jay-Z music. And Pusha T doesn't confirm anything directly, but he does say we made history a couple times with a smirk, talking about, their songs that they have already. So
I would love to hear a whole verse on the new Clipse album. That would be the cherry on top. I don't need it, but I would love to hear a whole verse.
Hove always comes through for them, so I'm assuming that I'm sure you'll get a whole verse on there. I would hope so.
Yeah, yep. Well, make sure you guys go check out that GQ article. That is it for the first.
When the album come out?
Oh, sorry. The article, the album comes out July 11th. It's called "Let God Sort Them Out," and right now they have their single. You have their single?
Play it right now, damn it.
Ace and Trumpets. I'm sure it's not in the system.
We don't have Ace and Trumpets in?
No, we don't have it in the system.
I need to hear that before
we
the
played it during. Didn't we play it during Past Talks?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we should have it somewhere in the system.
No,
But yes,
Nyla got it.
No, Nyla got. They only played a thing of it. I could put. I'll send it in. I'll send it over.
Okay.
They'd be like, yo, how this nigga a DJ? He ain't got nothing in the queue.
It's not my system.
You're a liar.
I got it in Serato.
You're a liar.
I got it in Serato. This is not.
Lying.
You better stop, because people really think I picked the music up here.
You know what I'm picking?
They
should have had it. The way you glazed the Trump, the way you glazed the Clipse this morning, and you don't have their music.
Clipse is my homies, but I when we come back, I'll
That's
get it.
on me. I should have reminded you.
I'll send it over.
We're doing this.
I'll send it over. It's the
He
Breakfast
did
Club.
glaze a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah,
He did very
glazing.
methodical and articulate in the way they be.
That's my homie.
He didn't glaze, but he bought the baby oil in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just didn't.
You know
pour
what's
it.
so crazy? You show
Listen,
some people some
I'm
love,
learning.
and all of a sudden you glazing
I know.
them.
Nah, I was showing love. You was glazing.
I'm learning bringing the baby oil in the room is obvious. Allegedly, that's a crime too.
What?
Bringing the baby oil in the room, you all complicit. Envy, you better say you didn't do that.
What the hell are you talking about?
What the hell?
She been in court.
I've been in
too long,
court.
yo.
Don't bring no baby oil in no rooms that I'm in.
Eddie, I
I
just
don't want
sent
to
it
be a
to
part
you.
of no enterprise.
I just sent it to you.
Okay, let's do this. Let's play an OG Clipse record.
We got to pull that up now too. You know, it'll take long with these old computers.
Damn.
All right, we tried.
It's loaded. Keep talking. We don't have 21 seconds.
20 more seconds? 20 more seconds to what? The player's
talk.
Clipse
Here,
record?
Jess, take a look at the
What
picture. Don't they
else?
look good?
Who birthday is
Oh
it,
yes,
Jess?
I always thought they.
Who birthday is it?
Dave East. Happy birthday to Dave East and Jill Biden.
Jill
Jill
Biden.
Biden and Anderson Cooper too. Happy
Okay.
birthday.
That's a nice little mashup.
That
It
is.
took us everywhere.
It's very well
It
rounded.
is.
Took
Yeah.
us to
We
the
still
streets,
ain't- we still
to
ain't
the
happy.
education,
We got
to
it
the
now. Just
crime.
pulled it up. Here's I'm Good. It's a Clipse classic. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Front page news is next.
Just glaze.
You're checking out The Breakfast Club.
Monday.
Wake that ass up.
In the morning.
The Breakfast Club.